My favorite thing about Kino's journey is how it will bring up the question of, is this morally right or is this morally wrong? And with this week's episode, we get, it kind of introduces this very bothersome country, this country that's always moving, and I really like the idea of the country, how they have this giant reactor kind of like generating power for them, but in order to kind of get rid of the excess energy so it doesn't blow up and kill everyone, they essentially have this kind of like treadmill mechanic, so the country's always moving and it kind of burns through the excess energy. Very interesting concept, and it'd be cool to live in that country because you get to see all the different locations, but it's not all just sunshines and rainbows, because you can see that they leave a footprint, and this footprint can literally destroy crops, destroy the world that they traverse over. But their kind of mindset is, everyone leaves a footprint, so it'll be fine. The crops will grow back, everything will be fine. And it's a very interesting concept because on one hand, you can see, okay, yeah, like, we all leave our footprints, we cut down trees, we do our own things to kind of build our kind of country, our lands, things like that. But at the same time, generally, a person will just have one spot that they kind of destroy and make their own. But this, they're just going across the entire world and seemingly just bothering people time and time again. And when you get introduced to the second country with essentially the Great Wall of China, it looks like, this is where it gets interesting, because the way we kind of like built our countries in our own world is we did it through war, we did it through conquering, fighting, and then once we settled down, we all started to try to act civilized. Granted, we never have fully got there, and we're still fighting wars and butting heads over stupid things, but still, we have this agreement that, we have the United States, we have Canada, we have Japan, we have all these different countries, and they belong to certain people. And if you want to cross over, you have to have these laws, and you gotta obey the laws, otherwise it goes to war. But at the same time, you kind of think, well, this is the same way that we conquer. Like, all they want to do is they want to pass through this wall. That's what we gotta do, but we're gonna have to destroy your crops. We're not gonna destroy your buildings. We're not gonna try to hurt anyone. But they're just like, you can't just do it. This is our land. And you can understand where they're coming from, because literally you just have this giant laser beast of a machine coming in trying to destroy your way of life. But at the same time, that's how we conquered our lands and things like that. We went to other places, and just instead of taking it, we just kind of, or they're just kind of passing through. So on both sides, you can't really say one is right or wrong, but in my mind, it would just be better for this mobile land to just secure a chunk of land that they could just go in a circle in. Find a nice pretty scenery, go in a circle, you could burn through your excess energy, and all would be better. But I can understand why they want to keep moving, but at the same time, this is why I like Kino's journey. Neither side is really right or wrong, and both sides you can understand why they feel they're in the right, because I mean, this place is building a giant wall so they can tax people and force them to obey their lands and their laws, but that's no different from any other place. So it's just this very interesting concept. You have this very unique country, but at the same time, they're pushing the question, are they really doing anything wrong, or are they doing anything really that right? And really, neither answer is correct. Both are right in their own way if you look at how we conquered our own lands and how we function in today's society. But I think to solve all this, it would just be best that they found a nice scenic location and just kind of conquered that and just went in a circle, and it would solve all the issues. But of course, we're probably never going to see this country again, and I mean, minus Kino's painting on the walls here of her being a sharpshooter, which I have to admit was awesome to see her sharpshooting skills in that way. This was just a really good episode. Honestly, I think this was my favorite episode of the 3 so far. I thought it was a very unique country, and it brought the question of, are they doing anything that wrong? But at the same time, are they really doing anything that right? And that's why I like Kino's journey. It always brings that question of the morally gray of like trying to figure out like, is this actually that wrong? Or like, it's pushing your humanity in a lot of ways. And I really like this episode. I thought, honestly, it looked really cool for just being a giant, like, kind of like cone of a moving country kind of a thing. It's not really that visually pleasing to look at, but at the same time, it did have its own charm and its own uniqueness, especially with the color palette that they were using. I really liked this episode, I gotta say. I thought it was very interesting, and I'm very excited to see where they're gonna go with next week's episode. But one thing I gotta mention, when Hermes was essentially trying to talk to Kino before Kino was going to bed, I thought I was like, oh man, there's gonna be something sinister going down. And then when, Hermes was like, yeah, I was just trying to tell you that you gotta dry your hair before you go to sleep, otherwise your hair is gonna go insane. I thought that was a nice, like, kind of one-off curveball that actually made me laugh quite a bit, so shouts out there. So let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this episode, and what did you think of kind of pushing, like, who's right and wrong? Because I thought this was a very interesting episode to think about, because really, neither country was totally right or wrong, but at the same time, I think it would just be best for them to just go in a circle in one location. But hey, let me know your thoughts, and before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.